guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be reacting to a video called Why Germany's Autobahn Has No Speed Limit. So this is a question that I have to say I don't think I've ever asked myself, but I'm very curious to find out why. So let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
There is a road where speed limits don't exist.
Love it.
You can drive as fast as you want with no risk of punishment. No
I like
flashing blue lights, no speeding tickets, just complete speed freedom.
To get your dreams of feeling like
This
an F1
road
driver.
has a dark history,
Oh, okay.
and that freedom may not last much longer. So where is this road?
What?
Is it safe? And can you really drive as fast as you like? Welcome to Explained. Across Germany, you'll find the Autobahn, the German highway system that literally translates as automobile track. It's over 13,000 kilometers long,
Oh my god, it's
and
so
there's
long.
absolutely no speed limit.
Does it stretch just like
Whatever
over
speed the
country?
car is capable of is legal, but the Autobahn was a home for speed long before it stretched across the country.
Okay.
The fastest speed ever recorded on the Autobahn was all the way back in 1938.
How much was
Rudolf
that?
Cacciolo drove a V12 Mercedes-Benz W125
I love
at a
that car.
ridiculous 435.5 kilometers per hour.
In 1930? Was that allowed? Was it possible? How did a car not like burst into flames?
In more recent times on the Autobahn, the RUF R-Turbo has been clocked at 335 kilometers per hour.
Wait,
A Bugatti
so
Veyron
less
reached 352 kilometers per hour, and a Porsche 9FF G-Turbo 850 hit a ridiculous 380 kilometers per hour. And while
That's
the
so
record has
insane.
never been broken,
I would like to have that. Not really though.
mainly due to the Autobahn being slightly busier now than it was way back before the war,
Oh, of course, makes sense. People are actually
That's
driving
amazing.
there.
210, 215.
Yes.
Ah, I just had an orgasm. Did you have an orgasm?
that doesn't mean you won't see blazing speeds.
Like this looks very fast. How
Find
fast is this
videos
person
all over
going?
the internet of Bugattis, Porsches, Ferraris, and more flying down the German highways.
Is that the real number? 400.
But while this idea may excite petrol heads everywhere,
This is crazy.
the German Autobahn has a dark history. In 1932, the first ever unofficial piece of the Autobahn was created. The A555 connected Cologne and Bonn and had no speed limits. It was known as the
Well-
Diplomats Raceway.
Okay. I'm actually wondering, do like roads back in those days had like speed limits? Because I'm thinking maybe prior to maybe like in the 1950s, 1960s, I don't think speed limits were a thing like all over the world. Maybe I'm totally off, but I'm thinking people probably didn't pay that much attention back in the day. And also I think there were just fewer cars in general, but I don't know.
Nowadays, the German Autobahn is one of the longest highway systems in the world.
Oh, in the world. Oh my god, this person is driving like a maniac.
But why doesn't it have a speed limit?
That's a very good question. Yes, why?
Put simply, it's never had one. And it's
Okay.
never needed one.
Okay,
But
but
is
how
it
do you mean?
safe?
Yeah, how come
Per
it has
capita,
never needed
traffic-related
anything?
deaths in Germany are one of the lowest in the world, with just 3.7 deaths per 100,000. That's around 70% less than the United States.
Okay,
There's strict
that's a lot.
speed limits throughout the country. So is faster safer?
I wouldn't say like
Probably not.
yeah,
The
exactly.
Autobahn is freedom for driving fast.
Oh my god, this is
It's not freedom for tailgating.
okay. Makes sense.
Drivers who ride the bumper of the car in front risk a €375 fine and the possibility of losing their license for 3 months.
Oh my god, what is this person doing? Okay,
It's also
the license
tougher to get a
license,
driving license
that's
in
harsh.
Germany. And while drivers are free to put their foot down on the Autobahn,
I'd be so scared.
studies show that the average speed on a 6-lane stretch is still only 142 kilometers per hour.
Oh,
It's
okay.
also important to note that not all of the Autobahn is speed limit free.
Yeah.
Sectors in urban areas or under repair, as well as accident-prone portions of the highway, will generally have a 130 km per hour speed limit. And just
But
because
that's
there's
a
no
lot, I
speed
think.
limits does not mean the drivers have no responsibility. As the speed
That's
increases,
very true.
so does a driver's liability if there's a crash.
Absolutely. You need to be more responsible. Oh my god, okay.
Courts in Germany have ruled that an ideal driver will not go faster than 130 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
Once you exceed that speed, the responsibility of the driver increases with it.
Okay. Ah! Oh my god.
Anytime a serious crash happens due to
Oh my
fast
God.
speeds, the pressure to bring in the limits increases.
Okay, did he hit it like that
In
hard?
2003, a Mercedes test driver was jailed for just 18 months after being found guilty of manslaughter. Rolf Fischer's aggressive driving caused a young mother to panic and lose control of her car.
Oh my god,
She
okay.
died alongside her 2-year-old daughter.
Okay, this took a very dark turn in the
According
past
to a
30
recent
seconds.
poll, 60% of Germans actually support the idea of a limit on the Autobahn,
Oh, they
with
want-
just
they-
38% saying there should be no limit whatsoever.
Wow,
Even the
okay.
German king of
They
speed,
don't agree.
Sebastian Vettel, is in favour of an Autobahn speed limit, saying it is a no-brainer. But it's not just because of safety fears that's driving Germans to favour restrictions.
Oh my god.
Introducing a speed limit could save 2 million tonnes of fuel every year. This is not just an important climate goal, but also would help reduce Germany's reliance on Russian oil. But what do you think? Should the Autobahn stay a place of freedom for speed lovers?
Jesus Christ, this is...
Or is it time for change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us know what you think, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.
Okay, this was a ride. I literally, like, no pun intended, but this was a ride. I think earlier the clips were like, oh, fun, but no, that last part was like, oh my god. Okay, what were all those crashes like in the Autobahn? Because this looks like quite a scary situation. But not to say that whole, obviously, like, I don't know the crashes. I'm guessing deaths. Obviously, like, those clips were in the actual Autobahn. I don't know, because it mentioned, like, they really do not have, like, that many casualties or actually, like, car crashes in Germany. So is it like, I'm so confused. So is it those were in the Autobahn, were not those in Germany? I'm so confused by that whole situation. But the whole, like, those clips were intense. I always, like, the thing about, like, the man that went to jail because, like, he was, like, recklessly driving and he caused, like, an accident and the woman died. That sucks, obviously. Like, I'm wondering if that was just, like, one outlier. Like, it just, obviously, that person shouldn't be driving. And yes, of course, like, he did jail time, which I think most people would agree, because he was apparently, like, recklessly going into, like, one of these roads. But I do think, like, it's interesting because on one hand, you know, the non-cautious, like, part of me wants to say, like, no, but if the Autobahn has never had, like, a speed limit, and it's working for them technically, because again, apparently Germany has, like, between, like, among, like, the lowest rates of car crashes and car, like, related casualties, like, in the world. Then, you know, why would you change it? Like, it means that it's, you know, it's working for them. And I think a little part of me that, you know, it's not like the logical part says, like, oh, but it looks fun. Like, who wouldn't want to drive in this place of, like, there's no limit. Like, you can just go and, you know, use your dreams of, like, being, you know, how fast can I go? Like, again, and I think, but maybe that's just, you know, me speaking as, you know, someone that doesn't, not non-German speaking, that's someone that doesn't really live there. So it doesn't have to use this every single day. And I'm probably looking at it from more like the perspective of a tourist, that if I ever find myself there, I would want to go and, like, rent a really good car and just, like, oh, I want to go there. At the same time, I think it's a little bit scary because, you know, again, people are going quite fast, because that's what I was also, you know, my point is, like, it doesn't have a speed limit, but, like they said, most people actually, because, you know, you're cautious when you're driving, you're usually very cautious about the situation. So even if they tell you, like, oh, there's no speed limit, I think most people are still going to be like, I'm scared because I have to be responsible for myself and for other people. So I'm not going to go to like 400 kilometers per hour unless it's someone that actually can handle it, because, you know, they're professional drivers, or I know they have some sort of experience. Because I mean, I personally myself, again, speaking like a tourist, I'd be like, one part of me is like, oh my God, I would love it. And yes, I would rent a car and I would go there. But realistically, I know that probably I'm not gonna go up to like 300 kilometers. Why? Because I would get scared. It's like, oh my God, this car is going very fast, and I don't really feel I have enough of, I don't know, because I don't feel that safe in my driving if I'm going that fast, because I'm not used to obviously going to like 300 kilometers. So probably realistically, I would probably go lower. And I think probably most people have that mindset of, if you're not feeling very safe when you're driving your car, of course you're going to lower your speed. And that it's, for every, like, it doesn't matter if you're in the Autobahn, if you're on the highway, when you don't feel that you have control of the car, you're going to take some measures. Most people, most sane people would do that, because obviously you don't want to cause a car crash. And of course, again, you want to be safe for both for yourself and for other people. So I think, again, one part of me is like, yes, I'm going, but realistically, it's like, how fast are you going to go? And I think most tourists would also like feel that way, because even if you're going at like, I don't know, 180 or 200, you're gonna feeling like, oh my God, I'm flying by, which of course is incredibly fast. But of course, it's like the speed limit is gonna be like faster than what you're used to, and you're not a professional driver. Everything's gonna be like, whoa, mind blowing to me. So realistically, you're not going up to like those insane speeds. So it is kind of like maybe a little bit safer, and that's probably part of it. I think the sense of like, there's no speed limit gives you a sense of maybe of, I was gonna say like false security, although it's not the false security. It's just like, again, if you're not restricted, you're just gonna be free, but what do you do with that freedom? Realistically, it's not gonna be going up to like insane speeds, because most people are gonna feel it and you're gonna get scared. It's like, no, humans are not made to be flying and driving to this speed. So, and on one hand, I do, agree with that. But mostly, again, this is the perspective of a tourist. If someone, like, for people that actually live there and that probably use the Autobahn, because like they mentioned, there are some like a lot of stretches that are actually, I don't really know, I would like to see like the actual, like the stretch of the road. Obviously it has like so many kilometers. How much of it is actually like they don't really have a speed limit? Is it, I would guess it's probably around 20, maybe 30%, which obviously the most part of the Autobahn, it has a speed limit because it's close to like suburban areas, or I like they mentioned it's a dangerous stretch of the road. I don't really know what classifies as dangerous, but they obviously have to know what they're doing. Maybe it's because there's a lot of curves and it's not just like long stretches of road. I don't know. But again, it's like, I think it's mostly, again, it's all in your head. And it's not the actual like reality of actually driving there every day, because probably if you're driving there every day, you're actually like the stretches of like space that I have to actually like, oh, there's no speed limit, are probably like fewer than you think, especially again for people that actually live there. And for the most part, you do have a speed limit that's obviously enforced. And again, the traffic is like, you have to take into account, of course there's a lot of traffic, so it's not going to be like, I'm not going to, I can just like fly by, because there's going to be other people, other cars. There's a lot of traffic in general, and of course you're going to go like the crazy thing of like, I saw a clip of there was like this person like zigzagging all over the place. I think they would find you, like they're gonna pull you over, because again, it's like the thing that doesn't have a speed limit, but it doesn't mean that you're unrestricted, and it's like a lawless land. It's like, no, you still have responsibilities, and there are some things that you have to like, you actually have to, you have to do. So again, if people that actually live in Germany, that those are the ones that apparently like they did a survey and they were like, no, we actually want this. Most people, I think was like 50 or 60% of Germans were like, no, we actually want a speed limit. Makes me think that there's something else that I'm missing out. And again, it's like something that we're not seeing, that for people that are actually driving there every day, that those people are the ones that know it, who better than them to be like, no, they should definitely enforce it. It makes me think that it's not, maybe, again, it's like, it's probably like safe, but people probably don't feel that safe. Again, it's like, there's like fewer car crashes, but maybe it's just like the sense of like, I would just like something enforced, like, hey, you can go, maybe they can do like a good good point of like, well, maybe it would be like, let's do, instead of like 130, let's put it at, I don't know, 200. So maybe like the speed limit's going to be higher than in most places, but there's going to be a speed limit. So maybe I put it around 200, I don't know, or so. I'm saying like, a random number, but maybe that's gonna be, again, maybe that would be the case, or I don't know if that would be counteractive, and maybe people would think, oh, because you also have a speed limit that's gonna be higher, so people are gonna lose their minds. I mean, they're gonna go over it. I don't know, but maybe it would be like a trial period of like put a speed limit that's kind of higher, or maybe not actually. And come to think about it, I'm just like I'm like thinking about it, and actually I don't think that would be a good idea, because I think that's the case. Like the minute that you put a number onto these things, the mind, the average mind, the human mind, it's going to go over that. They will want to achieve that. They will want to go over, if not that, close to that. So if you know that you can do like 250, you're just going to you're going to push it. You're like, oh, I want to get to 250, or at least at 240. And maybe that's going to make it a bit dangerous, because people have like a set number, and they would probably want to go like closer to that. I don't know. Maybe that is the case. But I think it's more like a psychological study that needs to be done on whether or not like people would actually would they go faster. But again, the whole thing, this is perspective of someone that doesn't live there. And if the people that actually live there, and Germans, do feel that there's gonna be like a speed limit, it makes me think there's something that we're missing out as people that, that don't really live there, as foreigners. And driving there is probably going to be a different experience. And I think maybe you're going to do it, again, if you're a tourist, you're going to do it a few times. But for people that it's their daily lives, maybe it's not as fun as it looks. Maybe because you're constantly scared of like insane people on the road, or just, I don't know, because again, it's just like it's like two roads, right? So if you're there, maybe you're just like, I don't know, it's going to be like quite a scary situation. I don't know. I'm wondering how actually people do they have some sort of, I don't know, are they strict about it? Like if I tell you like, hey, these are the rules, would you actually follow them? I think Germans are pretty good at following rules. So I would think maybe not. But again, maybe it's the case of like people do not feel that's safe driving there, and maybe that's why they want the speed limit. But I would love to actually hear the thoughts of like German people and on this subject specifically. Like, why would you want the speed limit enforced if apparently it has been working for forever, since the creation of the Autobahn? Why now do you want this changed? I think again, maybe it's even, I don't know, it's like close calls. Maybe it doesn't really get to like a car crash, but again, the sense of like safety, and probably near car crashes that you see, or maybe just like driving there, you feel like it's not as safe as it is a safe thing. But I think again, because it's all in your mind, maybe you're seeing the thing and you're like with the situation, you're like, well, this is very dangerous, so I would like to feel a little bit safer, even though the statistics show that no, it is safe. But again, like I mentioned, it's like it's all in your head, so it is a sense of security. I think speed limits maybe give you a sense of security, and maybe that's it. I don't know. But again, it could be, you can make the argument of like, maybe not really, because people want to go over it. I don't know. But I think it's a very interesting subject, and again, I would love to hear like some Germans people's like thoughts on this, and why exactly. Like, not just like, do you feel that they should have a speed limit? And if the answer is yes, then tell me why. Because again, would love to know if it's because of like, it's like it doesn't really feel safe driving there, but you're in your lane and you're going at like, I don't know, 80 or 100, and you're like seeing people fly past you at like to 150, 200, and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy. That person's driving like a maniac, an insane person. Maybe it's a thing of that. Maybe, I don't know. But I would actually love to hear their thoughts. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.